Welcome to the State of the Artifact. My name is Shaylee Johnson. I'm board chair. As an alumni myself, I saw firsthand the impact of being a part of the Artifact's creative programming. And before I talk more about tonight, I want to draw your attention to the walls next to you, behind you, off to the side here. The exhibition here is our 2026 PKX Teen Art Exhibition featuring the work of talented young artists from throughout the Hudson Valley, and is curated by our Poughkeepsie Board of Artistic Youth. So when you get a chance, please definitely take a look at the artwork. It is absolutely amazing. So I want to acknowledge everyone here tonight in the room because the work we do could not be possible without your support. So thank you. We are honored to be joined here tonight by government officials, Nedra Patterson-Thompson, Damian Garcia on behalf of Senator Gillibrand's office, Owen Rafter, Carmen Smallwood, Brian Crana on behalf of Dutchess County, Ulster County Legislator Chris Hewitt, and Dutchess County Legislator Lisa Call. To our board of directors, are you here today? If you're here, raise your hands so everybody can see you. Thank you. And our committee members too, Sheba, I see you, girl. I want to give you a shout out, thank you. Your dedication and shared vision empower the Artifact to dream bigger and reach higher every year. To our funders and donors, you're the reason why our work flourishes. In a world where so many doors are closed before young people even arrive, you are the ones who help keep those doors open, and we are deeply thankful. To our community partners, all 40 of you who stood alongside us last year and continue to do so this year, thank you for understanding that creativity is not a luxury, it's a necessity. To our staff that show up every day with more passion than any job description can contain, I am grateful. What you give to this work and to these young people is immeasurable. And to our students, you're the reason why we're here every day. Tonight, we are proud to release the Artifact's 2025 annual report. It's more than a pretty book. It's a record of what becomes possible when a community decides that creativity is a core value. To illustrate this impact, I'd like to welcome alum and teaching artist Chanel Reed to the podium.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for coming tonight. My name is Chanel Reed, and I am a Hudson Valley-based artist who is currently working with the Media Art Design Lab within the Artifact. I've been with the Artifact for the past 4.5 years, first as a student and now as a teaching artist. And my time here has been greatly impactful on my experience as an artist. I want to start by telling you something that might seem small, but changed everything for me. In the beginning, I was hesitant to take creative risks and unsure of how to fully contribute. It seemed like creativity was something for other people with more opportunity and people who knew what they wanted. Then someone close to me gave me the courage to explore my talent, and a door opened to me. The door to this organization. And what I found inside wasn't just supplies or an art room. I found passionate artists who believed I had something worth saying and who were willing to give me mentorship each step I took towards my future. Who showed that each step to the future will never be perfect, but I can guide those steps towards what's most important to me. I gradually understood that my story, my perspective, and my skill mattered. One of the most impactful parts of my experience has been the opportunity to engage with a diverse range of ideas and people. As a student, I was a part of the Charlie Barn Youth Creatorial team, working on the first PKX festival, Wonderland. I participated in creating the exhibition, programming artist talks, and designing a logo for the festival. I developed a deeper appreciation for how varied and personal art can be. This was the first time I felt I was a part of Poughkeepsie. Tonight, you're going to hear about impact, numbers, programs, and what we've built together this year. And those things are real and they are remarkable. But behind every number is an aspiring person like me, someone who needed an extended hand and found a stronger foundation, sense of direction, and a deeper understanding of both myself and art. Thank you for being part of the ecosystem that made space for us. Now, I'd like to introduce the person who leads this work every single day, Nicole Finichelle Hewitt, Executive Director of the Artifact.
Wow, thank you, Chanel. Yeah, that was so beautifully said, and we are so extremely proud of you. Super to have students turn into alumni, turn into staff. Every time I hear a student speak, I'm reminded exactly why we do this work. Not just to have numbers to report or stories to tell. Those matter, but they're not the reason. The reason we do this work is simple. It's young people. It always comes back to our students. This year, our theme is one I want to sit with for a minute. It's ecosystems. In the nonprofit world, we talk a lot about impact, numbers, metrics, and I'm going to share some of those in a moment. But they never tell the whole story. Behind each number is an invisible architecture of relationships, of trust, and the consistent, patient, sometimes messy work of creating an environment where a young person can take a creative risk and know that they're going to be supported when they do. That's an ecosystem, not a single program, not a single donor or teacher or artist, but a whole web of support. And that includes all of you. Every person in this room is a thread in that web. Every gift, every introduction, every moment of encouragement, it holds this work together. It's not symbolic, it's structural. It's the difference between a young person wondering if they belong and knowing that they do. So let me share a little of what's in our annual report. This is what our ecosystem produced last year. Nearly 10,000 individuals were served through programs and events throughout the Hudson Valley, from after-school enrichment programs to in-school residencies to the PKX Festival and so much more. We reached students across 10 different school districts, meeting young people where they are, in their communities, in their schools, to expand learning and help them think differently, think boldly and creatively. Last year, our budget was over $2 million, and 82 cents of every dollar went directly to programs. What that really means is an investment in relationships and trust. It also means the Artifact ran one of the largest youth employment programs in the region. These experiences prepare our youth employees for a future where flexibility, collaboration, and creativity will matter more than ever. The world is changing quickly. Young people need more than resumes. They need confidence in their own voices. So we give them real jobs, making films, creating public art, producing festivals, real deadlines, real responsibilities, real paychecks. And for some, it's their first experience paying taxes, which kind of feels like an important rite of passage. 90% of workforce youth in our organization are interested in pursuing a college degree or career in the arts after completing our programs. That's not in spite of growing up in Poughkeepsie, but because of what they found here. Last year, we removed financial barriers to our programs, awarding $72,000 in scholarships, expanding access to our summer camps and the prestigious Art Institute, where young people develop portfolios that reflect their voice and imagination and give them college scholarships and future opportunities. And these young artists are learning more than art. For example, this past October, our Mad Lab students unveiled a mural at Scenic Hudson's Junction, celebrating the biodiversity of the Fallkill. That's the waterway that runs through Poughkeepsie. Every image in that mural was created by a young person. Every species depicted in the mural came from the Poughkeepsie Natural Resource Inventory. But the deeper story is what came before the mural. Students studied local ecosystems, they studied pollution prevention, they learned about endangered species, they worked with a professional artist, and they presented to the Poughkeepsie Public Arts Commission. And then they became educators and docents, standing in front of their community, explaining not just what they created, but why it matters. Afterwards, 87% of those participants reported changing their pollution prevention behaviors. That is what happens when creativity is trusted as a civic power. Art, environmental stewardship, community connection, and at the center were young people leading it all. I am so grateful that tonight we've brought someone who truly understands from the deepest possible place what it means to build an ecosystem where young people's creativity is taken seriously. Jerry Laybourne has spent her career doing exactly that, building environments where imagination is not just welcomed but championed. In the 80s and 90s, she led the team that created Nickelodeon and Nick at Night, which means many of us here literally grew up under her supervision. In 1996, she was named one of Time Magazine's most influential people. She then founded Oxygen Media. She was inducted to the Television Hall of Fame in 2020. Her focus now is on early childhood education and workforce development. She's the co-founder and board chair of Day One Early Learning Community. She's been a member of the Poughkeepsie Children's Cabinet since its founding, and at the state level, she serves on Senator Gillibrand's Child Care Working Group, and on and on and on. From her transformative work in children's media to her tireless advocacy for young voices, Jerry has shown us what's possible when adults decide to get out of the way and let young people lead. Jerry, we are honored to have you with us tonight. Please welcome our keynote speaker and my dear friend, Geraldine Laybourne.
You know, you can tell by what I look like that I've heard a lot of speeches in my life. And I've heard about women and kids, but honestly, Nicole, this idea about this ecosystem that you're built is so extraordinary. And also, I have to say, it kind of explains what I did my whole life. And recently, I've been thinking that I've just been a community organizer my whole life. And I am. But when I came to this community, I really didn't know any of you. I didn't know any of you. I knew Vassar College. I guess I knew Bill Hoyne, the former dean. But today, I'm looking around and I see so many people that are working on behalf of youth. Jill Gomez is here with the Children's Cabinet. She has brought so much attention to the foundations that are supporting really important projects that are going to turn this community around. Day One is part of a community organization that brings women from the community and teaches them how to be first-class early learning teachers. Carmen Smallwood was given 1 month to start a camp where she provided space for 1,000 kids a few years ago. And a few weeks ago, we heard from the superintendent, that there were no summer programs for the program. So guess who raises her hand and says, hey, I can help? That has changed in Poughkeepsie. So Jeff Sasson from the Discovery Museum tells me he's now on the Child Care Council for Putnam and Dutchess County. So we're not just doing one thing. We're a group of people who want to see progress for our youth. Angela Henry's here from the Poughkeepsie Public School Foundation. And you've got to go to that Lego Lollapalooza. But Renee is here from Dutchess Outreach, from Dutchess Community College. They awarded the first micro-credentials for the apprentice teachers that we've gotten 130 employed in jobs. the first one in the state. They're expanding to babies. So everybody is coming together, and that is one of the most thrilling things. That wasn't part of my speech, but every time one of our nonprofit organization wins, we all win. And I am going to talk about the artifact some more. But my fundamental belief is that when young people are supported by adults intent on unlocking each one's superpower, where kids feel empowered by being heard and seen, joyful learning happens. And we see that here at the Artifact. So Nicole said I should tell a few stories about Nickelodeon. Why not? I studied open education. And so I had no management courses. I never studied business. But I thought that management was just like open education. Your job is to individualize instruction for all your employees. Find out what they're really good at. I learned this from my husband, Kit, who's here, because he would spend 50% of his time on stuff he's terrible at, and only 50% of the time that he's gifted at. And I thought, if I could just get him to do 80% of what he's gifted at. And you know what I'm talking about. You try to prove you can do something, you really should let somebody who can do it. So I had a lot of leeway running the business because they didn't expect that Nickelodeon would even survive. And when I started, we had no staff, no money, no programming, no hope. And that seemed like a perfect opportunity. What we were was an ecosystem of people who not only listened to kids, we loved them. And it was a tough time for kids, the 80s and 90s. It's even tougher now. But the 80s and 90s were all about, this hurry to grow up. The mothers were going to work. They were getting divorced. Kids were confidants. And we created a place that was play to learn, that was filled with creativity. We debunked every standard thing that people said, oh, kids don't bother about writing. They'll just make it noisy, Oh, don't worry about the quality of animation. Just make it noisy. And program only to boys, girls will watch anything. I know Steve Tinkelman likes that idea. It's so amazing to me that we actually, by the time I left, we were the highest ranked cable network of all cable networks. We had 50% of all kids' TV viewing, but the thing that mattered most to me was that 93% of the kids thought we understood them. And I used to joke that the others didn't understand the question. But anyway, our first kind of hit was you can't do that on television. And we believed that we just wanted kids to be who they were. We didn't want to have all blonde, skinny girls in sexy outfits. We wanted everyday kids. So we had this show from Ottawa, but the kids started to get bratty. And Alanis what was her? Angela? Marissa, thank you, was one of them. So when they got bratty, we started sliming them. And I just have to say, during COVID, when Nicole was trying to raise money, Kit and I agreed that if people gave enough money, we would be slimed. We raised $45,000, and it was the worst sliming I've ever had. So anyway, we were completely driven by creativity. We brought in opera to our promos. We had doo-wop, we had jazz, we had claymation, we had sandmation, we had spots where we told kids to turn off the set and get away from television. We were not normal. And we weren't normal in how we managed either. Like, I noticed that everybody wanted to be in every meeting. And as we grew, nothing got done because we're just all in meetings. So I insisted that we have recess every day at 3 o'clock. And everybody had to get out of their office. And, you know, I look so nice, but I could be tough. I made them get there. And one thing that happened that day, Dee LeDuc, our receptionist, came up with the idea for Double Dare, our biggest hit. So that's that. Now, in 2005, Kit and I were invited by the Youth League of the Communist Party to speak to the people who ran the Boys and Girls Club for after school. And we had to go over and we had to see what they were doing. It was grim. It was study guides and memorization and shooting guns and karaoke. It was just horrible. Kit was trying to explain why making media might be more interesting, and it was very crazy. So I was asked to give the keynote speech, and Madame Gu, who's 6'2", Chinese woman, comes to our room and says, "You must say that you studied art in college," which I did, "and that's why you were a successful businesswoman, because otherwise they won't listen to you." So I'm not used to saying things like that, but I did it. I have no idea what they thought. Kit, however, goes into a breakout room, and he can actually see the people. I couldn't see anybody. There were thousands of people. So Kit gives a speech where he talks about why developing creative skills in kids was so emotionally grounding for him. He talked about the ecosystem of support kids need. Now, this is not going to surprise you, and there are a lot of men in this room who are very forward-thinking. But in China in 2005, the women all brightened up and cheered up like, I can't believe there's a man talking about social, emotional issues. And the men just shrunk away, and they wanted to pretend that Kit didn't exist. So anyway, now, I don't know myself whether that had any impact, but I did consult with Claude AI, and these youth programs have dramatically changed to embrace art, music, and sports. And even in school, arts have increased by 11% of the curriculum. So I want to say that in 2005, everybody believed, well, China, they may be good at copying stuff, but they're never going to be creative. Okay, now we're going to segue to day one. The Chinese have been here for years looking at the model of high quality early learning, which has been proven in the last 40 years as the only way to train and help kids develop the neural networks that they need to deal with AI. And so they came here, they studied what we're doing, they implemented rules that 40 million kids, 0 to 5, will be getting early learning. Now, it's not perfect, but they've developed some models that are better than ours. The Angie True Play program. And I think that's amazing. But what it says is, in an AI world where China is way ahead of us, where they're way ahead of us in innovating electronic vehicles and in all technology, we better value creativity as a culture. We better value developing our babies' brains. So I want to end with, we're part of the Artifact ecosystem. Thank you. And we're part of the kid ecosystem, all of us. And Neville Smythe is here. Who did I know? Chris Croner's here. Gully Sanford is here. Chris Burney is here. We all love kids. And That's what we're about. But let me just say that when we look at the horizon of AI and how it's going to replace all the mechanical stuff, what it is not going to replace is judgment, taste, meaning making, empathy, original synthesis. They are not soft skills, they are hard skills. They are built beginning in early childhood through play, story, music, art, and later with programs like the Art Gift. Our youth who don't get that early foundation will struggle to compete against AI, but will compete with AI to be the human in the room who adds what machines cannot. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jerry, for those words and for your career, showing us what's possible when you decide that young people's voices deserve to be heard and when you lead with heart and fun and humor. Before we close with a short video to launch our spring giving, I want to invite 2 more students to say a few words because, again, it comes back to the voices of young people. Please welcome Erlyn Jimenez and Sanaya Ortiz.
Good evening. My name is Erlyn Jimenez, and I'm a Mad Lab youth artist.
And my name is Sanaya Ortiz, and I'm a Spark Studios youth producer.
When I first came to the Artifact, I thought I was coming here to learn how to make things, and I did. I learned how to draw, create illustrations and animations, and sculptural public art projects. I learned technical skills that I didn't know I was capable of, and I learned what it feels like to work alongside professional artists and to be treated as one.
When I was first handed a camera for the first time, I was told to make something that matters to me. I didn't just learn skills to create a compelling image. I learned that I am capable of something worth making, that I have something worth seeing, and that my creativity belongs in this community.
What I didn't expect was that I also learned how to see the world differently, to look at my neighborhood and my community and at my own story and understand that it has value and it deserves to be told.
At the Artifact, I gained a creative portfolio, artistic skills, and mentors that I'll carry with me for the rest of my life. There are a lot of people in this room, whether they know it or not, who invested in us. You believe that our education matters. You changed my life and the lives of thousands of my peers.
Thanks so much to Forge Media, our apprenticeship production house that produced that video. If you have video needs, Forge Media is for hire. We have so many talented young producers to work with, so let me know. Thank you for many of you who already work with Forge. And thanks so much to our Spark Youth tonight for photography. As we close, we hope you're reminded that creativity does not grow in isolation. In a world filled with noise and tension, art gives young people somewhere to land, a place to breathe, a place to be themselves, sometimes a place to fail safely and then to try again and find out they're more capable than they realized. At the Artifact, that doesn't happen by accident. It is intentionally built. Our goal for this year's Spring Appeal is to raise $30,000 for scholarships. Scholarships give students like Chanel, Erlyn, and Sanaya the opportunity to develop their portfolios. And in our Art Institute, it gives young students the opportunity to go to Duchess and Ulster arts camps and year-round arts courses. We're excited to announce that we're already off to a great start because our longtime supporter, Gwen Green, has gifted us with a $15,000 match. So, yes. Gwen couldn't be here tonight, but I will share that round of applause with her. So every dollar gifted will be doubled. So if you're feeling moved, help us kick off an early start to our campaign and open the door for a student by donating with the QR code. What we shared tonight shows what an ecosystem makes possible. Young people shaping their creative voices and their communities in real time. Thank you so much for being here. It's just amazing to see so many incredible leaders, community members, supporters, friends, allies in one room together. It's an incredible group. I wish we could stay and have an overnight retreat together. But seriously, thank you for being a part of this village and a part of what comes next. Thank you.